Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to Tyria then, and I'm going to say it now, your favorite Guild Wars show. Prove me wrong.
That's pretty good.
We're coming out of the gate with a bold statement today, because my intro last week was lacking in energy and enthusiasm. So this week I'm dialing it up a notch, and I'm claiming the spot of not number one most viewed, but number one most valued Guild Wars podcast on the internet.
That's quite good.
Yeah, take that, tea time. Welcome to the show, Miko, as always.
Hi. How is everyone?
Yeah, we're ready for episode 10. This is the 10th one.
Double digits. Here we go.
This is when I feel like this is when a show is real, as opposed to the fake show we've been doing for 9 episodes. This is when we can start shopping around for networks, right? We might need to get ourselves an agent. Like, hey, we've got 10 episodes.
Right. Some official sponsors.
Yeah, you'll start hearing about Squarespace and shit on here. You guys heard about HelloFresh? No, we're not going to hit you with the HelloFresh. And if we ever do, please unsubscribe.
No, don't do that. Don't unsubscribe. Just tell us, please stop the nonsense.
Yeah, no, just roast the hell out of us in the comments and clip me saying this, and then like fast forward it to my HelloFresh ad read, and post it on like whatever subreddit you post on for people being cringy. How was that for an intro? That was better this week, right? That was huge energy. So we actually play Guild Wars. We don't shill HelloFresh or Raycons. We're here just to play Guild Wars. Yep. Miko, did you play any Guild Wars?
I did.
All right. We're in the Maguma jungle still. We've been stranded here for what seems like a fucking eternity.
We said that about Kryta as well.
It feels like Swiss Family Robinson, like just stranded in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
No hope of escape. We started this episode in the jungle, and guess where we ended this episode? In the jungle. Like deeper than ever, honestly.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
The end is on the horizon, but we're going to have to wait till episode 11 for our emergence, reborn from the chrysalis that is the Maguma jungle.
Like the cicadas that have emerged.
Yeah, exactly. I'm amazed there's not cicadas in the Maguma jungle for us to fight, actually. Because that would be on theme and on brand. And they would be giant, of course.
They would.
And they would
very loud.
And they would drop something that you need 5 of to get a 71 AR rating armor piece.
Or not drop it.
Or yeah, they would be technically capable of dropping it, is a better way to put it. So we did some questing, didn't we?
We did. Mm-hmm.
Why did we do the questing? What happened last episode that led us to the questing?
So last episode, we found ourselves hunting down the Shining Blade to try and rescue the Chosen, whom we thought that the Shining Blade were going to kill, because they took them hostage, right? This is what happens. Kidnappers do bad things to hostages. All right. So
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I'll double check, but I think you're onto something there.
Yeah. So we trudged on after the Shining Blade, trying to get the Chosen back and rescue them, and we made our way through the wilds, because what was his name? Justiciar Thomas wasn't allowed to go and chase after the Shining Blade himself. You
can really keep these characters straight. I would not have been able to pull Justiciar Thomas for you.
I had to go. Yeah, I went back in my notes. It's what I do.
In the cutscene for Bloodstone Fen, he calls them Justicars.
Yeah, I remember when he said that. I remembered that was the weird pronunciation.
Am I crazy, or is it spelled Justiciar?
It is spelled Justiciar. I've always said Justiciar, so I must stick with that.
Listen,
the game also calls Ascalonians Ascalons, which is incorrect. And then in Cambridge 2, they went and retconned themselves, and they call them Ascalonians.
They call them Ascalons?
Yeah.
That's so bad.
They do me Ascalons, and I'm like, no, it's relatively Ascalonians. That's how proper proper English happens.
Isn't that what that one guy in the Ascalon fractal says? Rally to me, Ascalonians. Yes. Captain Ashlyn? I don't know. Divergence. But anyway, continue with the plot.
Yes. So we went after the Shining Blade because Justiciar Thomas wasn't allowed to go in and chase after the people that killed his brother. And because his troops, he and his troops are needed to fight the undead. So we went after them, and what we end up finding out at the end of the Wilds mission is that Shining Blade, they're not bad people. And what they tell us, or what Avenia tells us, is that the White Mantle are the bad guys. So if we don't believe her, we should just go on ahead to Bloodstone Fen and find out first.
She does the old see for yourselves. Yeah.
She does the old see for herself. She's got a guy called Marcus, who is one of her underlings, and he's like, why are you going to tell them give away our secrets? And she's like, I trust them. I don't think that they're like the evil White Mantle people. They seem a little bit, friendlier. So we went off to Bloodstone Fen, took a mighty detour to wake up some druids, and we find out once we get to the Bloodstone that Justiciar Hablion, our old pal from when we arrived in Kryta and let us into Lion's Arch, he was there with the Chosen, and he basically took them out to let the Bloodstone drink their blood. Is that the case? Canonically, it drinks. It's a living entity. Unless he lets the Bloodstone soak up their blood. But I thought drink blood was a little bit
right. The Bloodstones. Yeah, it's just sitting there in the middle of the jungle, thirsting for blood. It hungers for blood. Yeah. It needed to be fed. He was filling the old blood dish.
And so that's when we find out that the White Mantle take the Chosen, and really they just are taking the Chosen to kill them, because they think that the Chosen are going to make the Flame Seeker prophecies come true.
Yes.
And that's what we find out in episode 10, or what we found out in episode 9, sorry.
Yeah, and I think we end up in Quarrel Falls after. Yes. Yeah, and Quarrel Falls is just like a generic jungle outpost. So far, most of the outposts have been very unremarkable. That's going to change this episode. Yeah. But yeah, there's like a little like a cute little waterfall in Quarrel Falls. Yeah. But that's about it. And the homie himself, Gareth Quickblade, is there. And I think we did a quest for him last episode. We did. Where we killed some Justicars. And we brought their armor back to him, and that didn't really do anything except give us some experience. But hey, we're here for the cause now. We're Shining. I don't know if we're officially Shining Blade members, but we're like a subcontractor. Shining Blade,
adjacent.
Yeah, we're like we're on the same team, right?
Yes.
And
we are now teammates.
Yeah.
We become teammates with a lot of people in this game.
Yeah, no, we really like teaming up, and we really like switching teams.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid the Shining Blade come out with some shady shit, because we're already like chomping at the bit to switch teams, probably. That seems to be our character's MO. We're gonna like switch teams to the Centaurs next mission. No, I don't know.
No.
That might be.
Although we do meet an important Centaur in this one.
We do, yeah. And that's kind of where Gareth sends us off to. He's got a quest for us called White Mantle Wrath, Demagogues. Is that how you pronounce that?
Demagogue, yes.
Yeah, Demagogue's Vanguard. So for this quest, Gareth lets us know that a traitor has betrayed the Shining Blade. And I remarked that I find that interesting because the White Mantle also just came to the same conclusion. So the White Mantle is like, there's a traitor among us, and then the Shining Blade is like, there's a traitor among us.
Right. Well, because the thing that set us off, or where we ended at the end of Bloodstone Fen, is that we get that cutscene with Mr. Frowny Guy. What is his name?
Confessor Dorian.
Yes. Did you say Dorian?
I did, because apparently the White Mantle have a penchant for pronouncing things wrong.
Okay.
So I'm adding that to the repertoire.
There we go. So yeah, he found out real quick that we had offed Hablion, and Aaron and I were like, how did he find out so quick?
And then we did the research.
Well, yes, but we won't get to that right now. We'll leave that for the...
No, we won't spoil that whole thing. But in the cutscene, there is a figure. Yes. And you're just supposed to... You know what? Because we were looking at this figure, and you were like, you know what? That dude's not wearing a certain thing, right? And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't even think you're supposed to notice this on your first playthrough.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to notice this like 6 playthroughs down the line.
Right.
Like, this is not something that first playthrough people would notice. Like, this little tiny hint at the plot in that cutscene. So I think it's fine that we didn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I felt the need to like go into it on the podcast, because the very idea of commenters terrifies me.
It's okay.
So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, the White Mantle has a mole, and the White Mantle apparently believes that we are a traitor to them, and they'd be right.
Well, we just killed Hablion.
We did, yeah. We murdered.
So now they've sent the demagogue and his people.
Yeah. And what do you think of this name for this guy, the demagogue?
Yeah, I thought that was a bit much. That's
a
bit extra.
Yeah, so I looked up the word demagogue on the old Google search, and the official definition of demagogue is a political leader who seeks support by appealing to the desires and prejudices of ordinary people rather than using rational argument. Now, this definition fits very splendidly with like the White Mantle's whole MO, right? Right. However, calling him the demagogue, I don't think that's how you're supposed to use that term.
No, and it's just, it doesn't fit the actual character that we finally find is the demagogue, I found. Well, I found that he was a bit of a pushover.
Right, yeah, no, he's not much of a... Because a demagogue is supposed to be like a champion, might be a weird word, but like a leader, right? A invincible figure of sorts. Right. Usually in a political context, but in this situation, maybe political and physically, right? But yeah, he's kind of a lame, just kind of not really even a fight when we get to him. But what I also thought was weird about it is bosses in this game tend to have names, and they don't just have names; they have like very fanciful ones, right? A lot of the White Mantle ones, in particular, have super wacky names.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't seem to, so I just don't know why he doesn't have a name. Why is
this guy? Yeah.
Like, can you imagine being the member of an organization and one of the people in it, he's like a upper mid-level manager. They're just like, oh, that's the demagogue. Yeah. You're like, yeah, but what's his name? No, he's just the demagogue. And you're like, do I have to call him that?
The NPC that gives you the bonus to actually go and confront the demagogue, I think it's him who says that the people will just follow him. He's invincible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be tough. And yeah, no, it was a bit of a joke.
And then you remember you're playing Guild Wars Prophecies.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I just I can't buy into the name. It's it's just weird. It's a weird choice from the developer. I think it's supposed to be like a character move, right? Like to make the character stand out, but it just comes across as weird. And we probably just talked about it more than anyone else ever has in human history.
And now that we've been commenting that the bonuses, the mission bonuses, don't usually ever tie in with like lore things that happen outside of the missions. And so here we get these two primary quests that tie in with this mission bonus that happens in the Aurora Glade mission.
It's so all
Yeah.
It's all terribly cohesive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, well, I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah, they hyped him up, basically. Like, we have multiple quests.
They did hype him up.
Yeah, because this quest is called the Demagogue's Vanguard, right? We haven't even talked about the quest yet. But they're like, the Demagogue is coming for you, you know? And then there's like a chain of quests, and they're all called White Mantle Wrath, right? Like, it's very much a build-up to something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that... I think what's more funny about it is they describe him like he's a very charismatic leader, right? People will just follow him, right? Something about this guy's got Riz, as the youngins say these days, and I don't think he has a single line of dialogue. No, he doesn't. He's just a guy standing there, and he's level 20, and you execute him.
Dude is like level 16. He's
is he really?
Level 20.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And he doesn't even have a boss glow.
Wow. Okay, not even a boss aura.
No.
Yeah, so I think that's the point, the disconnect on him for me, is that they really hype up his, like, charismatic qualities, and there's no representation of that in the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of like a 2.3 out of 10 for us on Demagogue. We'll be coming back to him later. Because as far as the Demagogue's Vanguard quest that we got to do out of Coral Falls, he basically sends like a forward, quote unquote, vanguard. He wants them to destroy some guy named Counselor Valor, who lives. He doesn't live, but he's currently outside an outpost called, quote, Ventari's refuge.
Yes.
We don't know who Counselor Valor is, other than he's a Shining Blade guy. We don't know who Ventari is or what his refuge is. These are just words on paper. And then I also noted, because it shows you the quest reward when you accept the quest. This quest offers a fucking cane as a reward.
It does.
Like, my sensibilities are offended by the very notion. And then I also have a bullet point that says the White Mantle Vanguard is a joke.
Yeah, well, we don't really ever... I mean, we do fight some of them, but, you know, they're supposed to be, like, rampaging through the countryside here.
And there's, like, 3 little groups of them, and they're, like, 2 guys each, maybe 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all... I think they're, like, 2 White Mantle Knights and, like, a ranger or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a threat to your 6-person party.
No.
So this quest is very easy. And this quest does take us... So once we kill those groups, we do have to go into the next area.
Yes.
And so for Bloodstone Fen, since you told me that the bonus required me not to take Warrior Henchmen, right? Because they'll run up to the Druids. Yes. I took Claude for Bloodstone Fen, and it went fine. So I was like, oh, maybe Claude's good now. I'll keep taking him. Claude is not good now.
Oh, no.
Claude is still bad.
I still haven't retaken him because I'm like waiting for him to get better.
Yeah, so you're waiting for him to turn into Eve, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had an experimental journey from Coral Falls to Ventari's Refuge featuring Claude, and needless to say, Claude got left at Ventari's Refuge after that.
Did he get whack-a-moled a lot?
He did, yeah.
Poor Claude.
Yeah, they like him even more than Alicia.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe bringing Claude is the move to take the pressure off Alicia, come to think of it.
Maybe.
Is that the 5-head solution to henchman woes?
I still have not been taking Claude. I've been taking the 2 warriors, Stefan and Little Tom. And I take Dunham. And Dunham was getting, the enemies were going after him now. So they were going after Dunham and Alicia. And that was not a good time.
Yeah, Dunham does take his fair share of the beatings. He really does.
Yeah. And he also does a lot of trash talking, which is funny.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen a lot of Dunham's dialogues, actually.
Yeah. Well, he's usually behind you.
That's true. Yeah, no, I don't get to see any of the dialogues because I'm not viewing the battlefield from a vantage point. I'm usually right up next to a centaur and I'm clipping into him, and all I can see is like his snout. Yeah.
Right.
So no fun henchman lines for me, unfortunately. But the next area called Etton's Back.
It is.
And it's so we're like coming out of the Silverwood region, which is not silver, it is green.
Yes.
But it's like a jungle, right? And then we come to the Etton's Back, which is pure desert.
Mm-hmm.
It is barren. And Ventari's refuge is right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
When you came through the portal, did a group of White Mantle fight a group of centaurs?
Yeah.
Who won?
I just kind of, I think the centaurs were kicking the White Mantle's butts.
So we both encountered this and sat back and watched the fight?
Yeah. I kind of sat back, and then, I think my warriors decided to like try to join the fight, and I was like, well, I guess we're in now.
I guess we're in, yeah, but the centaurs do win. The centaurs kick the shit out of the White Mantle.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, which I thoroughly enjoyed. The White Mantle are like, they're the main story enemies, but they're like the easiest kinds. Like, I'd rather fight White Mantle than any of the jungle creatures.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you see the tents that are scattered through the Etton's Back area?
Tents.
Yeah, there's tents. They've got like a flag with a 6-pointed star on it, and I have no idea what the hell this flag is to.
Well, let's see. I saw encampments.
Yeah, there's an encampment.
I saw some encampments that were, I think some were Shining Blade and some were White Mantle. But 6-pointed star, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I have a note here that says tents with red flags with a 6-pointed star on them.
I'm gonna have to wiki this now.
I wikied Etton's Back because I was like, oh, it'll say in the trivia section or the notes, right? There's nothing about these tents and flags on the whole thing. Yeah, I will put them up from my footage. I'll put them up on the screen in the video, so we can review. And if it turns out I'm wrong and I made this up, I will insert a voice clip of me eating crow into the edit.
Okay.
So that's my promise to you. Buy my HelloFresh subscription. No, I'm joking.
Right.
So we rampaged through Etton's Back. We watched some centaurs decimate some White Mantle, and then Counselor Valor is standing right outside the entrance to Ventari's refuge. Mm-hmm. And he basically just, as many NPCs in this game do, he just says thank you. Yeah. I imagine Counselor Valor, like the title of Counselor. I assume the Shining Blade has like an inner council, kind of like the. You know those guys who stand around the table in Star Wars and they like make decisions for the rebels? Yeah. I feel like that's who Counselor Valor is. Yeah.
Well, it would go with the counselor name.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Big brain over here on Aaron making some very basic connections. What did you do after you turned the quest into Valor?
So the guy that was standing next to him, Deeproot.
His name is Deeproot.
His name is Deeproot, yeah. Had an exclamation mark over his head. So even though Chancellor Valor was like, hey, I need you to go inside and talk to Ventari and see if he will come and talk with me, because we need him on our side. And I was like, sure, no problem. But first I'm going to talk to this guy over here because he's got an exclamation mark over his head. And I talked to him first. And he had 2 quests. Mr. Deeproot, right?
Which which are the first quests that he has?
He had Urgent Warning. I think that he had that one as well.
I thought Urgent Warning was a Counselor Valorism.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yes, you're right. It is. But he, what's his name? Whose name I've forgotten already. Deeproot. He's got
Dropping Eaves.
Dropping Eaves. He had Dropping Eaves. Yes.
And then you have to complete that, and then it chains into Blood and Smoke.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, what's this Dropping Eaves? Thanks, Mr. Deeproot. And then I went in and talked to Ventari.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we there is that guy named Deeproot, and I too talked to Deeproot, and this seems to be like a Shining Blade thing to like name your people a
like
name.
G.I. Joe names.
Yeah, like a code name, like a jungle code name. Because we'll meet a guy. We'll meet a guy later named Snakebite.
Snakebite. And then I was like, Hey, I think I remember a character out of G.I. Joe. That was Snakebite. Or something. But that's a very good G.I. Joe name. I mean, what?
It's 100% a G.I. Joe name, yeah. And
Dude,
it's...
I'm loving that the devs went this route, though.
Yeah, Snakebite, great. Deep Root, I don't know about Deep Root.
I don't know, because he's kind of looking like he's got assassin's gear on it. Well, he's got the hood to, like, kind of veil his face.
You spoiled the entire campaign of factions for me now. Now I can't enjoy playing that on an assassin for the show. What are we going to do?
Okay. I don't know.
No, yeah, he does look a little assassin-like, actually, 100%. Yeah. He's, like, kind of small and wiry. He's got, like, medium armor on, right?
Mm-hmm. Very ninja-esque.
Yeah, totally. So we're going to do some quests for Deep Root, because I, too, talked to him. But yeah, I grabbed Veiler's Urgent Warning quest and ran inside to speak with this Ventari person, who we haven't seen yet.
No.
So us going in here as our first encounter with him, who/what is Ventari?
So Ventari is a centaur.
He
Who is friendly.
The first friendly centaur?
Yes. And he's tired of fighting. He has adopted a pacifist kind of position. He's got... We were both, like, cracking jokes on poor Ventari over here, because Ventari is an important character. But I wrote down that he straight up looks like a hippie.
He's got several looks going on kind of at the same time. Because I looked at him and I saw the lead singer of, like, an emo band from 2009.
Yeah.
He's got that swept over hair.
Yeah, he's got the swept over hair.
And I think he might have some guy liner on.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, he looks like he should be like rocking the mic at a...
Yeah, and it looks like he might be, like, chewing some cud or smoking some weed. But yeah, he's got a very, like, hey man, what's going on? I'm sorry.
He does, yeah. And I think the quests were actually, because we get 2 quests from Veiler. We get White Mantle Wrath Helping Hand, and we get Urgent Warning. Urgent Warning is the quest to go find my boy Snakebite. Yeah. White Mantle Wrath Helping Hand is the quest that where we want to go talk to Ventari. Yeah. And Veiler basically needs Ventari to... So Ventari won't let the Shining Blade into Ventari's refuge.
Correct.
Keep in mind, he doesn't have, like, soldiers. There's no one here to defend. It's just him there. Yeah. So the Shining Blade are just like, oh, okay.
Right. Well, whatever. They respect him, which is great. But he doesn't... He's a pacifist, but he's obviously a centaur, so...
He didn't get to attend the Centaur moot for declaring war on all of humanity because we ended it.
Right. So I guess the implication there is that Ventari could probably kick your ass if you crossed him.
I mean, he's quite big. He's bigger than Aaron.
He's very big.
Yeah.
He's very big. And when we were talking back and forth in Discord that he's got, like, his posture seems like he ought to be holding something in his right hand.
Like, he should be holding a spear, is what it looks like.
A spear or something, yeah. But he's not.
He's not, yeah. He just awkwardly has his hands sticking in the air all the time.
Yeah. And so you're like, I don't know what he's holding or pretending to hold, but if we go in there, we might get trampled on or something. I don't know. But yeah, Veiler won't go in, even though he wants Ventari's help.
All he wants on the planet Tyria is to go into Ventari's refuge. And Ventari's like, no, I'm not having it. I'm a pacifist. I'm Switzerland.
Yes.
You will not bring your conflict here. But
he tells us, and by the way, while we've been talking, I've now got your white mantle friends now surrounding my place, so go and take care of them. And I'm like, bro, but I thought you wanted us to be pacifists too.
Yeah, no, he's literally like, I won't help the White Mantle, but you should help defend my location. But don't let them in here, but defend my location for me. Yeah, 100%. And Ventari refuses to help fight as well. Mm-hmm. And I like, did you see some of the dialogue options you have to respond to Ventari?
Yeah. You try to convince him, and he's just like, no.
Well, what you can say, so Guild Wars doesn't have very robust player dialogue. You might get like one sentence or two if you're very lucky. You get to say two sentences. Mm-hmm. You can say, "Have you no heart?" Yes. to Ventari, which I thought is very funny.
That's not going to convince him.
And he's aggressively pacifist, like vehemently. It's funny because this quest essentially goes nowhere. Right. Mm-hmm. You go into Ask Ventari for help because like the standard RPG would be like, okay, I'll do the quest and I'll convince him, right? And we even experienced with that one quest I did in Old Ascalon that you can have dialogue-based quest outcomes in this game.
Yeah.
But they did not do that here. He just says no. There's no alternate dialogue option. It's just a flat no. Mm-hmm. He's got some platitudes, like he'll explain. He has some very long-winded reasons why he chooses to be pacifist. He says that humans and centaurs once lived in peace. Our argument, of course, is that the White Mantle are not just a threat to the Shining Blade, they're a threat to, like, Tyria at large, right? Mm-hmm. But Ventari doesn't care. So we have to defend the Ventari's refuge and the Shining Blade all by ourselves. And we got to go outside and fight. Yep. Did you win?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The groups were very pushovery again. And also you have some Shining Blade help.
You do. You've got Shining Blade groups, and then you've got your own group. I went after the middle team, I think, and then I let the Shining Blade groups take the two teams that come in on the side. I think the Shining Blade died.
I took yes, the Shining Blade do die, so if you're not quick. So I went after the group on the right first, and then I went after the group
so you helped one of the Shining Blade groups instead of leaving them. Yeah, I left them both to fend for themselves and took the middle group. And I think like one or two Shining Blade people survived, but a lot of them died.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't be amusing, but it was.
Yeah. Well, because then the irony is that doesn't matter if they die, because whenever you leave Ventari's refuge,
they're back
again. The groups are back,
and there's a centaur group that they have to fight.
Yes.
Yeah, even if you complete this quest, this it doesn't quite happen the same way, but like those people are stuck defending a place they can't even go inside in perpetuity.
Right. Yeah.
Which is also very funny, even though it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And at the end of that quest, when we talk to Valor, he indicates that the Shining Blade... Sorry, I'm getting so confused between White Mantle and Shining Blade, and almost saying the wrong one every time. The Shining Blade are trying to enact a druidic ritual to open, quote, the gates of Denravi, and that we have to go somewhere called Aurora Glade.
Right.
And we're going to go there after we turn right around and talk to Deeproot and do all of his bullshits.
Yeah.
Because, that's what I do next, is I'm like, okay, I'll be right there after I literally run to the other side of the jungle multiple times. But the stuff you do for Deeproot does tie into... Everything in this area is very narratively cohesive.
Yes.
Everything ties into the goal of going to Aurora Glade and doing the... Aurora Glade mission to open the gates of Denravi. So I thought that was really cool, that the kind of quest ecosystem is super cohesive.
Yeah.
So the Dropping Eves quest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe before Dropping Eves, actually, inside Ventari's refuge, did you get some armor?
I did. Because there was a collector there, I want to say. Yeah. And he had a piece that I had the drops for. So I traded for some gloves, I think.
Nice. So you've got, and then there's an armor vendor there too. Did you craft any of it, or did you already have?
The armor vendor, I think, had what rate for medium armor? I think
55.
55, yeah. And I think I did craft. What was I missing? I think I crafted the headpiece and some leggings.
So you've got like kind of a mix of that crafted armor and then the
Yes.
collector armor, which is slightly better.
Yeah, then I ended up later on, right before I ended my play session for this episode, I ended up getting the drops that I needed for the better mask. So I believe I've got the better mask now, the 61 mask.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm rocking the 55 leggings.
I had full 59 armor stuff when I got to Ventari's refuge, so that's where the warrior rating is at for like the armor I bought all the way back in Beetleton, I want to say. So I bought all of this 65 armor rating armor. Nice. And then I went ahead and farmed all the collector armor anyway, which I regret doing because it took way too long and it's not worth it for 6 extra armor points.
Well, because you're now at what, 71?
Yeah, 71 for everything, which is the tier right below maximum armor as far as like crafted armor goes. Nice. I think in collectors in the next area we're going to go to do have like 76 or something like that for warriors anyway. But yeah, this was the armor corner section of the podcast. Subscribe if you enjoyed that. Anyway, we have some side questing to do, but it's like it doesn't even feel that much like side questing because these quests would fit right into the main plot.
They really would. And I really appreciated that they did relate so well.
Yeah. So what did you do for Deeproot first when you talked to him?
So Deeproot, once we find him, he hang on, where's my stuff? We've got to find out that there are they've got whispers in the earth have pointed to 2 white mantle agents at work in the Reed Bog. So this is our thing, right? We've got to see if we can find these agents that are at work in Reed Bog, which is it's a more jungly feeling because it's not Etten's back, so it's a more jungly feeling area. And it has lots of twists and turns. You can get easily lost. That's what I remember from this area.
Yeah, it's a pretty small area.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It feels like the middle of nowhere. Like it really feels deep jungly.
And what he wants you to do is to go and eavesdrop on their conversation. Find the white mantle, eavesdrop on their conversation, see what you can get from them. And then you can take them out.
And this is kind of the second time we've had to listen in on a conversation. In like not just in the game, but both of these instances happen in the Maguma jungle. So the first one was the bonus for the Wilds mission, just last episode. We had to listen to those 2 centaurs talk about their Entmoot. And now an obligatory Lord of the Rings reference, also dropping Eve's Samwise Gamgee. Need I say more?
I know.
No, like we both, as soon as you read this quest name, you're like, I ain't dropping no Eve, sir. Honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to listen to these guys kind of chit chat about what's going on. And the scouts confirm for us that there's a traitor in the Shining Blade.
Yes.
This is the first time us as the player character get like verbatim confirmation from enemy soldiers in person. This is the case. Yeah. Because the cutscene. Don't identify him. Yeah. Yeah, because the cutscene at the end of last episode, we don't like the player character doesn't have that information. They're not there, right? But now we're here, hearing it firsthand. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. This is probably was designed to be part of the main plot, and then was relegated to a side quest because there's already.
Which is sad because it would have been. I think it would have been really good to have this information within the primary quest.
Yeah, because there's already multiple primary quests in this area, so I think they had to like make some decisions. Yeah. But this has primary quest vibes for sure. Yeah. And it's pretty easy.
It is pretty easy, and then once you've listened in on their conversation, one of them's like, hey, did you hear that? And comes over to like check out where you're standing and tries to attack you, but of course you annihilate him and the other guy. They're 2 white mantle zealots.
Is that how it happened for you? That did not happen for me.
Really?
Yeah, no, they just walked off after the conversation. I had to chase them down.
Oh wow, how funny. Yeah, no, they came over in my direction.
It must have to do... Were you on the side of them that was closest to the portal to Ettensback? Or did you come around the other side?
I think I must have been closer to the portal because I was not that far from their camp. Okay. And I was hiding behind kind of like a jutting out of like a rock or something.
Yeah, we'll check the footage, but my two theories. One, you were on the other side of them that I was, and so you were in the direction they were running. Or two, a different outcome plays out depending on how close you are.
Yeah.
That's actually super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so they came at me, and so they tried to get past, and I didn't let them.
I ran them down like the dogs they are.
Nah, that's fair.
And then we have to go all the way back to Deeproot to give him this info. And then he sends us... Where does he send us?
So he sends us back to the Reed Bog.
He does.
To go and find Dark Oak, which is a great name. Also, one of these things are like, who's Dark Oak?
So, when you read that... Because you're talking to a guy named Deeproot, right? And you've already gotten an order to go find a guy named Snakebite. At this point, I'm assuming Dark Oak is just another Shining Blade
like, operative, yeah.
Yeah, like a just a dude that lives way deep in the jungle.
Way deep. Yeah.
I thought this was gonna have like Heart of Darkness vibes, like we were gonna go down there and find Colonel Kurtz like directing a group of moss scarabs or something.
He's like, he tells you, he's like, deep within the forest lives Dark Oak. He does not usually choose to show himself, but perhaps if our need is great, he will make his presence known. I was like, oh shit, Dark Oak is gonna be like this badass.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was gonna be a guy with like grease smeared over his eyes, right?
For sure.
you know.
And so Deeproot's like, find my boy Melthorin, who's a scout, and he'll point you in the direction.
Who, when you first went to Reedbog, did you talk to this Melthorin guy at the entrance to Reedbog, and he had nothing to say, and you were like, "What the hell?"
I think so, yeah.
Because I did too. I encountered him, and I was like, "What are you doing here?"
Just standing here, nothing.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Nothing much, brother." So I was glad that he's involved in this next quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's standing at the entrance there no matter what, whether the quest is active or not. He's always there. He lives here. And we chit-chat with him. We don't just get... Because once we go to the Reed Bog and we chit-chat with this dude, we then get sent further into the jungle.
Yeah.
To a place called the Falls.
Yeah, and Melthorin thinks that we're pretty brave for seeking out Dark Oak. Because he's like, I wouldn't go after him, but I mean, you're pretty ballsy.
Yeah, and this quest is great because we're trying to figure out. So the last quest we figured out that there's a traitor, right? And Deeproot is like, we need to figure out who the traitor is.
Right.
Dark Oak might know who the traitor is. Dark Oak knows fucking everything. Right. so he sends so that's why we're going to chit chat with Dark Oak, because he might be able to shed some insight on like who this traitor is, so we can of course drag them out of their camp kicking and screaming and draw and quarter them in the town square.
Right.
That's the point of this quest, I like to think. That's the only thing Ventari is good for, is helping draw and quarter traitors, which he would of course never do.
I was going to say not Ventari.
I was just thinking, horse drawing and quartering. Is that offensive to centaurs to ask for help with drawing and quartering your resident traders? Probably. Yes. Yeah.
Not probably.
All right, centaur apologists, please don't come at me over that one.
Pick it are.
This quest is also fucking nuts. I don't know if
it really is.
This quest is crazy in terms of like things that you can do in a Guild Wars 1 quest. This one's wild. So we have to go to the falls. Yes. And it's very far away.
It is.
And it's gigantic.
It is.
It's one of the biggest explorable areas in like prophecies. It's not Snake Dance big, but it's big.
Right.
And he's not too far in, but what a slog. The just this pathway that leads to him after you portal into the wilds. The falls, rather. The falls, yep. The wilds. The Ettin's back. Listen, I'm trying here. There's a spawn of Maguma spiders, like 6 of them at a time, like every 2 feet.
Yes.
How many of them dropped spider legs for you?
I actually got a lot of spider legs from them. And I was actually able to then get my collector's armor piece because of them. Because you warned me, you were like, there's a lot of spiders. You know, you might get your legs finally. And I finally did.
I got fucking 0.
Seriously? They dropped them off for me then.
I got not a... You stole my legs.
They dropped them all for me on the way into the quest and on the way back. And then the next time I had to run through, they gave me more legs. And I was like, thanks, I don't need any more. I've got my armor.
You stole all the Maguma spider legs.
Sorry.
Because I was counting it up, like vaguely counting it up. I was like, well, there was a shitload of spiders in Reedbog. And now I've killed like 4 or 5 of these groups of like 5 or 6 spiders. I've probably killed 50 spiders. And not gotten a single goddamn spider leg. So yeah, the game woefully mistreated me in my drop rate. Yeah. I did get the spider legs eventually off like 2 random spiders in the mission. So I was able to get my new... I don't even remember what the spider legs were for. Boots?
Boots or gloves?
Listen,
it was one of the 2.
I don't know anymore, okay? All I know is that the leggings, you have to go to the furthest point back in the falls and trade jungle troll tusks.
Jungle troll tusks or jungle scale fins. I had 2 options.
Did you?
Ask me how many drops I got.
0 for both.
I got 2 tusks, which are still in my inventory.
Which, when it's out of 5, is the same as 0.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I cleaned out every single encampment in that area of both enemy types.
Oh, when I say that I farmed for like 2 or 3 hours to get these drops, so when you spawn into Reedbog, this is a tangent, but when you spawn into Reedbog, there's a group of trolls right there, like just immediately. Mm-hmm. I would zone in, kill them, and zone back out, and then zone back in and kill them. And that is how I farmed the jungle troll tusks.
Oh, you're funny. Because I went and there are like several groups over by those 2 collectors, over by Balthazar's temple.
Right, yeah.
I killed all of those. And plus the ones coming in from the portal. And I got 2 tusks.
So here's my operating like logic on this. Yeah. I wikied it, right? Because I was like, because I could find the collectors for all the different armor pieces. Some of them even have 2 collectors, right? Yeah. But I was like, where are the fucking leggings? So I had to wiki it, and it's all the way at the back of the falls. I didn't see the collector for the jungle scale fins. I probably just missed it.
They're literally like across the way from each other. They could probably shout at each other and be like, "Hey, bring me some coffee."
Hey, did you get any jungle scale fins today? No. Yeah. Did you get any jungle troll tusk? No. There's not a lot of people out here, are there? No.
No.
What are we doing with our lives? I don't know. Yeah, the whole collector thing in Guild Wars 1 doesn't make a whole ton of sense. But my logic on the way I farmed it was, I am not fucking running all the way out there unless I already have all 5 of these jungle troll tusks.
Yeah, that's probably the right way to go about it. I just ran around and killed all of them and still got nothing.
Well, because you're like, surely if I run through this whole map, I'll get 5
I'll
tusks.
get something. Yeah, I know. Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
No. And then you just you completed a normal mode vanquish and got no rewards for the doing.
Exactly. But I got all those spider legs that you didn't get. So hey.
That's true. Yeah. No. That's a big flex. In all honesty. Right. So we do find, after all this tangential nonsense, we do find Deeproot.
We do.
And he's not a shining blade.
Dark oak.
Oh yeah, no, you're. Listen, Deeproot, dark oak. I'm struggling. Okay, I am struggling so much. Yeah, we already found Deeproot. He's right by Ventari. We find dark oak.
Dark Oak. Yes.
And he's not a Shining Blade.
No, and we probably should have known this because Oak is in his name.
It is, yeah. He's a
Dark
druid
Oak
spirit.
Is a druid. Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
He's like the tree model, but he's blue and ethereal.
Yes.
Before the show started, Miko and I were like, were there any new enemies this episode? And she was like, there were redwood shepherds.
Redwood shepherds. Yep.
And they're that same big tree guy skin that we've been seeing like 80 iterations of throughout the game. Mm-hmm. But they're red. So there's the best we can do for new enemy types this episode, guys. Sorry to disappoint. But the redwood shepherds hang out in Reed Bog and the Falls. Mm-hmm. And they are a trap because spiders will always spawn around them.
Yep.
My theory is the spiders live on them.
I mean, it's probably a good theory.
Yeah, no, it's probably the case. But Dark Oak, not Deeproot, Dark Oak is an ethereal spirit, so spiders cannot live on him unless they too are ethereal.
Right.
And I did not see any ethereal spiders.
No.
Anyway, Dark Oak is a druid spirit, and he's just kind of hanging out there, right?
Yeah.
And he's very into the concept of entropy.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with entropy.
He is. He starts tripping on similar. Who was it that gave us? Well, it was when Dwayna told us to go and
party with the druids.
Down. Yeah, go.
She had us go like party hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Smoke some weed with the druids. So here we've got another druid who starts talking to us in some weird mumbo jumbo. Very symbolic language of the vision that he's seeing, because we're like, hey, who is this traitor to the Shining Blade?
Yeah, and he walks over. It's crazy because he walks over to this basin and he pours water into it and he starts having a vision. No, he doesn't. But the vision he has is a lot like Galadriel's vision from the Fellowship of the Ring. It gave me huge Galadriel vibes.
Yeah.
But no, he has a vision for us, and yeah, everything he says is like, life is death, and death is life, and everything decays, but nothing ever ends. Like, it's that sort of horse shit.
It's like the White Mantle tablets of jam theory yet again.
Yes.
With these weird platitudes.
It is. Yeah. But before he has the vision, because I got excited.
Right.
He can't have the vision yet, right? We have to bring him something.
Right.
We have to bring him the like Pirates of the Caribbean style. We have to go get the still beating heart of a centaur, rip it out, kill this guy, rip it out of his chest, and bring the raw goopy heart to
which is actually called Bloody Heart.
It is. It's an inventory icon called Bloody Heart, but they couldn't they didn't have time to whip up like an inventory icon for it, so it just looks like a seed. It's just the seed inventory icon, but it's called Bloody Heart, even though it's beige and dry looking.
Right.
Yeah, we got to go kill this guy named Drogo Greatmane, and because what Dark Oak tells us is that he needs a sacrifice,
right.
to be able to have the vision.
I'm glad that you got all of this interaction with Dark Oak, because I got none of it.
Did you not?
No, because when I was running through the Reed Bog on my way out to the falls, Drogo Greatmane appeared. I had the quest active in my log. I killed Drogo Greatmane, and I got the Bloody Heart.
Wait, did you zone... So after you talked to Dark Oak, did you run back, or did you zone back to Ventari's refuge and run?
I hadn't even gotten to Dark Oak yet.
You can kill him and get the Bloody Heart before you get to Dark Oak?
Uh-huh.
Holy shit! That's incredible.
He spawned, and I was like, oh, look, there's an interesting centaur boss name. And so I killed him, and then I saw Bloody Heart quest item drop, and I was like, I am pretty sure that that's the quest item that I need for this quest, and I haven't even been told to go and get it yet. I'm gonna just go pick it up because thanks, game.
Right, because we're in the middle of nowhere in a section of the game where, like, I'm pretty sure this is the only fucking quest, right?
Right.
Like, there's no way this isn't related to this quest. That's wild. So if you bring that to Dark Oak first, it skips some of his dialogue about, like, why he needs the heart.
Yep.
Wow,
I got none
wild.
of that. Yeah, then I didn't have to go back to, like, go and find Drogo Greatmane again. I just gave him... He just told me his vision and took the heart.
That's wild. Yeah, he tells me that we need to... The beings, quote-unquote, that he needs to consult require sacrifice. So this is, like, some really dark, like, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we literally... go carve out this dude's heart and bring it. Like, I think we're a bad guy at this point. I think we're bad. We're doing, like, voodoo rituals and we're committing murder. And then doing, like, blood ritual sacrifice with the
centaur
murder.
that we kill is a necro.
He is, yeah, no, he probably had it coming. He's probably done some questionable rituals.
Right.
So yeah, he has this vision, and it's some total Galadriel shit.
Oh my gosh.
Well, he literally uses the words bright and terrible as the sun.
Does he?
Yes, he does. He says,
oh yeah, you're right. I'm looking at his dialogue because I screen capped it for myself.
And I was like, that reminds me of something.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if the people who made this game watched Lord of the Rings.
Or read them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it gave me a huge Lord of the Rings vision vibes from that scene in the Elf City. And he said, so I give him the heart, and he has a vision of a lion who hungers and is devouring the forest and or the world. He says both.
Yeah.
Yeah, this vision starts kind of low key, and then it escalates very quickly.
Yeah.
The lion is bright and terrible as the sun. All falls before the lion until nothing is left. Also very evocative of what Galadriel says in Lord of the Rings. And something about
a host of gleaming angels. No, not angels, but birds.
Carrion birds.
Carrion birds.
Yes.
That's what he said. Then he says, bright and terrible as the sun. Accompany this lion.
Yes, that's right.
I'm like, where is this vision going? What are you smoking, bro?
Yeah, no, he like put some herbs on the fire
he went on a serious trip.
Yeah. And did you go on the wiki about this quest at all?
Only to see that I needed the bloody heart as the quest item.
Because I won't spoil it, right? We'll avoid the spoilers. Okay. But the wiki has some interesting things to say about what the carrion birds and the angels might be referring to.
Oh.
Some beings that come into the plot at a later point.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah. So very cool quest. Kind of a pain in the ass because you have to go really far away, and then you have to run back, and then you have to run back again, and you have to kill all those goddamn spiders each time.
Or you could just kill Drogo Greatmane on the way out.
I wish I knew you could do that. Yeah. Because it would have saved me an entire run through those spiders.
But you got the cool dialogue about why he needed the sacrifice.
I'm so glad I got the cool dialogue. I don't wish I'd done it your way at all.
It was for podcast purposes. It works.
In this scenario, I'm erring on the side of ignorance is bliss, and I wish I didn't even know that you could do it my way. Yeah, no, it's a good quest. I like this. I like this quest chain. It's good. It also tells us nothing about who the traitor is.
No.
Nothing at all.
No, but Deeproot gets very excited when you go and turn in the quest to him.
He gets excited, but he's also like, well, the lion is obviously the White Mantle or Kryta.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
or the white words.
Yeah. And I'm just like, well, okay. That doesn't give us any more info, but if you're happy, I'm happy. Like,
yeah, he says he's going to consult with Avenia to see if she can interpret the vision.
It would be great if we got some follow-up on that.
Maybe we will.
I wouldn't hold your breath. I genuinely don't know. Maybe we do, but I don't think so. That would be sweet if we did, though. So yeah, that was kind of the little side quest chain for this area, and it's quite nice. I think it's like a much higher quality of tie-in quest than we've been seeing so far in the game. I'm kind of low on the quests in Kryta, I think. And then the quests we did around not Ventari's Refuge, but Druid's Overlook when we entered the Maguma region. The ayahuasca one was kind of fun, but the other ones were like a little mid, right? So I think this is kind of like a return to form for the side questing.
Yeah.
Very fun stuff. Very cool implications. And very just wacky, like going and carving out some guy's heart and bringing it to a druid ritual. That's the kind of wacky shit that we don't do every day in Tyria, right? No. So very exciting quests to have done. And then we kind of got to snap back to reality, right?
Right.
We're like, oh shit, yeah, no, the White Mantle's got a traitor, and the Shining Blade's also got a traitor, and the White Mantle are bulldozing the jungle looking for me. Right. Holy shit, I need to like get my ass in gear. So
we're gonna go follow the primary, the last primary quest Balar gave us.
Yeah, this quest is called Urgent Warning. We have not adhered to the urgency of the warning, but we're we were trying to get valuable information, so I'm not even hating.
I mean, it'll pay out. We'll take it.
Yeah. So for Urgent Warning, Valor wants us to go see someone named Elder Gretchen, who is, which it's like Franklin, right? You can't be named Gretchen in a fantasy universe. But Elder Gretchen is, if you're gonna be named Gretchen, at least have the decency to be an old lady, right? Which her name would imply, but you get there and her model is clearly like a 27-year-old woman.
No, I think the Elder is just the title.
I think so, yeah.
Like a counselor.
You don't live very long in the Shining Blade.
No, maybe that's true.
Yeah, I don't think they have a very long life expectancy. But Elder Gretchen is at the Aurora Glade, and she is trying to unlock the gate to some place called Den Ravi. This is all we know so far. We got to get there to warn Gretchen, and we got to speak.
White Mantle are coming.
Yes, they're coming, and they're coming in extreme force. Because now that we've killed Hablion, there's hell to pay, essentially. Right. So we got to talk to my main man, Snakebite. Because he will be able to point us towards the Aurora Glade. Did you find Snakebite?
Yes.
I too found Snakebite. He's just kind of hanging out.
He's not hard to miss.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, they already came through, and I was left to kind of keep an eye out and make sure that no others got through of the White Mantle. We're like, thanks. He's like, yeah, just go that way. Go find Gretchen.
Just him by his lonesome. They were like, you stay back and hold back the whatever.
I mean, his name is Snakebite.
Do you think
he should be able to take him out?
Do you think he like digs himself a foxhole and hides in it, and he like bites?
Possibly.
He like bites the ankles of passing by White Mantle.
It would be appropriate, yeah.
He hides in the ferns, like badly. He's not even good at it.
He is kind of hanging out by shrubbery. I will give him that.
Yeah, I get the impression that he's like chiseled his teeth into fangs like manually, and he's way too into this.
Very pointy, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't start calling him Snakebite. He decided his name was Snakebite.
That's right.
100%. This is who this man is.
Yes.
So the portal to Aurora Glade is like right nearby. So we really didn't need to talk to Snakebite because it's right there. But whatever, right? And yeah, he lets us know that the White Mantle have already like bulldozed the Shining Blade in the area, and they're like really pushing, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because where we find them is like on the other side of where we are. I just don't know how they missed Aurora Glade, but okay, sure. You'd think that how did Snakebite survive? Do you think he just hid in his little fern hole?
I mean,
while all his friends were cut down?
He probably like took them all out.
You think he killed everybody?
I don't know.
I think Snakebite might be a coward.
Maybe.
I don't know. Elder Gretchen might be too though, because she's still hanging out as well.
Although she's kind of I wrote down how like she's a get to the point kind of lady, because
Mhm.
when we interact with her, she's just like, at this point, we need your weapons and your spells far more than Valor's warnings. I'm like, oh, okay. You're not
Yeah.
interested in our message. All right, great, cool.
Yeah, and did you see back when you were talking to Snakebite, did you see like the whole set of like stone wicker apartments that were like set into the
Yes.
cliff next to him?
Yes.
I was like that's kind of a, so he, because he's talking about the White Mantle like bulldozing the area, right? I was like, that's kind of a nice touch to show that like, oh, people lived here,
Yeah.
you know, and the White Mantle kind of rampaged through, and now people don't live here.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been like too M rated to show like corpses littering the ground, I guess. But I think that's the implication. And so did you have a chit chat with Gretchen?
I did.
She's got some good information.
Yeah, she tells us that the White Mantle have already come through and destroyed everything, and where they found abandoned villages, they just left them behind. They left behind only sticks and stones, is what she says. Mm-hmm. And where they found Shining Blade, they left behind only corpses, which kind of goes to your point about how did Snakebite survive.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He just hid in his little foxhole.
Maybe.
And he was like, I'm gonna bite somebody.
Ankle biter.
Bite the last guy.
Yeah. So, she thinks that we're fighting a losing battle, and we've got to hurry up and open the portal to the Druid henge of Denravi.
Yeah, the way she puts it is it's like a Druid city.
Yeah, and she's the one who tells us. Now, you had mentioned this in the previous episode, that the Druids were Crichtons who transcended to become part of the jungle, and Gretchen actually tells us that basically that's the case.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't blown that cover on
the
last episode, because it would have been way cooler to figure that out now.
Yeah,
but I was worried that we were gonna miss the wherever that info is.
Right.
So I was like, let's bring it up. But yeah, Gretchen is the one that has this.
Gretchen is the one who tells us that they're a little more than spirits now.
So the henge is abandoned, essentially. It's just
the henge is abandoned, and basically what the Shining Blade wants to do is get to the henge to use it as like their new base camp.
It's a free, like, magically concealed city, right? Like, it's like a no-brainer. So yeah, they want to conduct a druid ritual to open it. And she also mentions that the Shining Blade have been using the druid structures throughout the jungle to house themselves.
Yeah.
So when we're like going through the Sage Lands and seeing like all these weird buildings and stuff, and we're going through the jungle and we're seeing like these green leaf tents and shit, I think the Shining Blade live in all of that. Like,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they just live wherever these structures are. Those like pods hanging from the nests. I think like Shining Blade just like nestle down and all that shit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool that they're like deeply integrated with the druid infrastructure of the jungle. Yeah. And it would explain why they're so adept at traversing and hiding as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And she's also the podium gal, right? For this mission.
She is podium mistress. That's right.
Podium mistress, yes. Better. She is the one who tells us that she suspects that the traitor within the Shining Blade is someone in the inner council circle. Because they're the only ones who knew of the entire plan to get to the Druid base. And use it as the Shining Blade base. And she says that they've been working on that plan for a year. Since last year.
She also mentions that the White Mantle attacked at the most perfect possible moment. Yeah. And they could, like, choosing this particular time to attack, the odds of them doing that, like, off cuff is, like, astronomical.
Yeah.
So it's more than likely that someone on the inner council is a traitor.
Yeah, and the White Mantle are also now after the henge of Denravi. So they're trying. So now it's basically the entire point of Aurora Glade is it's a race. Who can get through first?
Yeah.
And claim the henge of Denravi as their own.
It is a race, but the White Mantle very kindly wait for us at the end to show up.
Yes. And all throughout the path.
Yeah. Like, it's a race, but they're already at the end, just patiently, like, we gotta keep it fair, guys, okay? We gotta give them a chance to run their crystals. We can't just do all the crystals now. So yeah, it's kind of a good meme, but the mission is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And then there is a bonus that we already kind of talked about. Because what is the bonus for the mission?
So the bonus is you have to go and assassinate the demagogue. And
it uses the word assassinate.
Yes,
it does not say, because so I find this so like bizarre because demagogue is an inherently political term, right? And so is assassinate.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say, they choose not to say kill demagogue, they say assassinate demagogue. Giving this whole character like this heavily politicized undertone that just doesn't come across in the gameplay at all. No. So yeah, just bizarre choices with that character. But you gotta save a guy to be able to even do this bonus.
Yes.
And is that because you have to overhear yet another conversation, or does Les just tell you after you save him?
He just tells you after you save him.
Gotcha. Okay. And I love that. So like the mission up until that point is just like hack through the monsters until you get to the thing, right? You get to a couple druid shrines and they like show you the mechanic of taking the crystal and putting it on the other pedestal to like turn the thing blue. We've got to attune the pedestals, and basically that's how we get through the mission. If we can attune 3 of them at the same time, we win. It's like your very standard MMO mechanics shit, right? Yeah. So we gotta engage this like World of Warcraft type of deal to progress through the mission. And his name is Les Longbow. Yes. Hey guys, less longbow, more crossbow. Right. Less longbow. That's really good. More sword and shields. Yeah. His name is LESS. Les. Les. And he's getting not LES. Yeah, no, LESS. Yeah, it's not like Les is short for Lester or something like that. No. No, he just wants you. He wants the world to use less longbows. Less longbow. Yeah. Which, if you play Guild Wars 2 and you've encountered rangers on longbows, you probably want them to use their longbows less too. Less longbow 4. Less longbow 4, unless you actually need to CC. Anyways. True. All too true, but that will be talked about more on episode 238. There you go. Yeah, when we get to break bars. So wait for that. But yeah, he's getting like the shit kicked out of him by 2 White Mantle Knights, and we gotta save him. I was so the first time I ran this bonus several times because of my henchmen. I ran the mission twice as well, because doing this mission and bonus with henchmen is an exercise in futility, like at the same time. Yes. And so the first time I ran it, Les Longbow was just kind of standing there, and he wasn't getting the shit kicked out of him. And I was like, oh, he's just hanging out. Okay, I'm going to go talk to him. And then after that, he was actually fighting. And I was like, oh crap, if he dies, I'm not going to be able to get the bonus. No, he wasn't actually taking much damage at all. Because why? Because the White Mantle, they hit like wet noodles, apparently. So, the first time you encountered him, he was not getting attacked at all? No, he was just standing there. That's wild. He was getting attacked both times, and I managed to save him the first time. So I actually did the bonus first. And then I failed the mission, of course, because I went and did the bonus. And then I did the actual mission on the second run through. The second run through, I tried to save him again just to do it, and he died. I couldn't get there in time. Oh, wow, okay. You know why? Because there's like a boss group right before Les, right? When you come through that little canyon. Yeah. All 5 of my henchmen got body blocked on the boss and did not come with me. Over to Les. On brand. That is so on brand for the henchmen, I swear. And here's the thing, they're flagged. So they're flagged to run over to me. So they are not fighting the boss that they're stuck on. They're simply standing there, doing nothing. Nothing. Gosh. Incredible party AI in Guild Wars 1. Luckily, it did not matter on that run, because I was just going for the main mission. Right. But yeah, the bonus is to assassinate the demagogue. Right. And that all happens in the final mission area where you both have to complete the mission by racing against the White Mantle to attune crystal shrines. And
Yes.
then you're somehow supposed to break off and also kill the demagogue without losing any ground on that crystal shrine race.
Right.
Did you try to do it and the bonus at the same time on your first run?
Yes, and the footage that you have of my success is actually doing the bonus and the mission successfully together in one run.
Okay, so your last run, you managed to do them both at the same time together.
Yeah, and it was how did I do that? It was a war of attrition.
I was going to say,
I just whittled them down. I waited. I used the wiki's method of flagging my henchmen over on one of the little pedestal things, and just let the little White Mantle groups come out to try and recap the pedestal away from me. And I just held the other two, let my henchmen fight and fight and fight and fight, and they killed them all. And then I went after the demagogue. It took a while.
That's pretty impressive. That's like some pro level gameplay.
Well, I mean, you had said, just run past and go after him. So I tried that, and my henchmen got stuck on the White Mantle that came out to try and get us. And even though I flagged them also over to me, but they were like, no.
Body block issues.
They just were like, no. And they were actually trying to, I don't know what they were doing. And I unflagged them trying to all right, well, come this way, friends. But no, they still were just fighting. And I was like, I can't even with you guys. And then the second time I tried, well, let me see if I could just whittle them down. And I whittled the group down, of the group of White Mantle down, pretty far. And I was like, right, I'm going to rush the demagogue now because we should not have any trouble. And my henchmen got stuck again because they're idiots. And that's when I was like, I guess I have to just wait for them to kill them, every single one. And then maybe we win. So that's what I did.
I think ArenaNet should send you a t-shirt that says, I did Aurora Glade mission and bonus on the same run with henchmen.
Yes. That's right.
ArenaNet, I know you guys listen to this show. Get on
right.
that, please. Send Miko a t-shirt.
A t-shirt.
Because I was not able to do this. I ran past... Because I was reading the wiki strategies for the bonus, and it was like, if you don't want to engage the giant army of White Mantle, just wall hug past them and kill the demagogue. And so that's what I did. And then I got a big old mission failed because the White Mantle attuned all the shrines.
Right.
So I had to rerun the mission and do the mission. And I unashamedly admit I used a cupcake to run the crystal shards.
I 100% used the birthday cupcake as well.
And
boost for the win.
Yes, and the reason I used this cupcake, the reason I had this cupcake is because there was that anniversary bonus event going on in April, and so I got it as a drop. I did not.
Had one cupcake.
I had two, and I used one of them in. I think I used one of them running back from Dark Oak because it was such a long fucking journey. So I had a cupcake that I got as a drop that I got to use. I also got like a bunch of honeycombs that I've been using to kind of take the edge off Alicia's gargantuan amounts of death penalty.
Right.
Because those do that, which is great.
Yes.
So
excellent.
Yeah, I do manage to get the mission completed on the second go. Mm-hmm. That's one of the great things about Gilmore's 1 is if you can't get the mission and bonus in the same run, you can do them completely separately, and it totally counts.
Yep.
So I got my mission bonus completion, and that's not the end of the mission, though, is it?
No. But before we get to the end of the mission, did you run into any cool bosses? Because we haven't really talked about other than Drago, what was his name? Drogo Greatmane. Did you run into any other cool bosses?
So I've got a cool one and I've got a goofy one.
Okay.
And they're both White Mantle. My goofy one is Cuthbert the Chaste.
Yes.
Which is I might have to I've never wanted to write a story about a Guild Wars 1 boss so badly. And then I thought the name Holt the Iron Boot Heel was very cool.
It was, and it was very appropriate for a warrior.
It's also remarkable that it is 5 words. There's no compound words going on here.
No. Iron, boot, heel. 3 separate words.
Yeah. Because usually you'd compound boot heel, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is Holt the Iron Boot Heel.
Yes.
So just for the sheer amount of words, it gets an A+ from me. So yeah, that was good. I like that. It was Holt spawned in both my mission runs in different places.
Yeah. I had all of the White Mantle bosses spawn throughout.
There's quite a few boss spawns.
Yeah, Holt. Lars the Obeisant, which is a mesmer. Gar the Merciful is the monk. And Manton the Indulgent is the elementalist.
Okay, Manton. First of all, Manton just as a first name is excellent.
Isn't it great?
And then the Indulgent is a very good moniker as well. Yeah. Manton the Indulgent. I might have to add Manton to my running list of RPG character names for me to pull from. I quite like it. But my next character I create in a game is definitely going to be Holt the Iron Boot Heel.
There you go.
Because that's amazing. I don't think that will fit in the Guild Wars 2.
I don't think it will.
I think it's
either.
too many characters. But I will find a game I can make Holt the Iron Boot Heel in, because that's incredible. We do get a cutscene once we fully attune the shrines.
Yes.
And we go through a portal.
We go through a portal, and we end up, apparently we end up sort of at the outskirts of the Henge of Dunravi. And we've got to make our way around Ibouti to find a Henge Guardian. The Guardian of the Henge.
The one who guardeth the Henge.
The Henge, yes.
And so he's really big.
He's very, very big. And he has two teeny little sidekicks that are just regular root behemoths. Yeah,
so he's like the root behemoths that we talked about. It might have been last episode. It might have been the episode before. They're like they're not little. They're pretty big worm guys that come out of the ground. They've got like a dragon head, but they're a worm. It's weird. Don't think too much about it. And then the Henge Guardian is just a real big one. And they've kind of got compared to the size of their bodies, they've got little T-Rex, centipede arms. Yeah. Kind of. Yes. I'm describing these so badly.
Really good.
And we have to fight this thing, and it's not very hard.
No.
It looks very menacing, but it's very easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you manage to kill it?
Oh, yeah. One shot it easy. It spawned a little spirit thing that I was like, oh, the spirit of primal echoes, and I was like, well, those are bad, but it was literally level 1, and I just one-shot it, and I was like, that's kind of a joke. But
it's just I think it's a ranger spirit skill.
Yes.
And I always, when enemy creatures spawn ranger spirits, I'm always like, aw.
Isn't that cute?
That's an ability on his bar. Bless him, he's using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're utterly useless. I'm sure there's some, I know the famine ranger spirit is used to farm some stuff. And I'm sure other people could point out good ranger spirits. Guys, if you have a instance of a time in Guild Wars where you found a ranger spirit very useful, put it in the comments. That'll be our comment topic of the week. Ranger spirits and when they're good. So hit us with those if you made it this far into the podcast. I killed it as well. And then there's another cutscene, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and some people show up.
Yeah, Avenia shows up
with the homies in tow.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Avenia and the homies.
Sadra and Marcus.
Was Marcus there?
I believe so. I have in my notes that Avenia, Sadra, and Marcus show up. I think Avenia is the only one with dialogue, so
that's probably why I
visually identifying Marcus. It could have been Gareth Quickblade. I'm not sure. They both. I think they have the same model. So.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. She's the only one who talks, and she's the only one that I paid attention to. But she's like, "Great work. Now we can go and check out our new home. Come with me." We're like, "Okay, cool."
And then the cutscene is not over, is it?
No.
And
then we get mysterious voiceover that the player hears, but not the player character.
The funkiest voice I think I've ever heard.
Gosh, it's super creepy.
It's
scratchy and creepy is what I wrote down.
Yeah, she's like, a new page turns for Tyria. The conflict begins in earnest. Like that type of a voice.
Yeah.
Right? It's wild, except it's much better than my version. But
yeah, and then she's all is as I have foreseen. And
yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? What trip are we on now?
A new chapter now lies open for Tyria. The page has been turned, and the conflict begins in earnest. All is as I have foreseen.
Yeah, it's some very, like, deep, like, grandma soothsayer voice type shit.
For sure.
It's super, and it's so out of left field. Like, I've played this game before, but I did not remember that was in there, and it, like,
I didn't remember it was in here either. I was
it made me jump a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, we know who this character is. People who played the game know who... Yeah, if you're deeply Guild Wars enfranchised, you'll know. But for the, like, 2 people who are listening to this show as their pure way of experiencing Guild Wars, just wait.
I'll tell you who it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is where this section of the game concludes. I actually think this is a pretty strong narrative section of the game.
I really do as well.
All the quests are cohesive with the mission. You get you end on kind of a reveal,
cliffhanger, yeah.
like the reveal of a mystery with this voice, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know who it is, but it's like, hey, big things are coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like kind of hyped when you're coming out of this mission.
Yeah.
And everything that happens is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty psyched to get into our next play session.
Yes.
I'm probably going to be doing that this weekend.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing the Riverside Province mission and the Sanctum K mission.
Yeah.
And those
that will conclude the Maguma Jungle section.
Well, like we kind of concluded it here mission-wise because the Riverside Province and Sanctum K take us back to Kryta. To like northern Tarnished Coast, southwestern Kryta. That's how the geography looks in my head. I'm sure a true Tyrian cartographer could explain to me why that's not where we're going. But it will take us back to Kryta, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Okay.
So we'll be like transitioning from Maguma back to like Kryta for a little bit. And then we're going to someplace completely new, which is going to be really cool. We were thinking about doing that this episode, and then we found Deeproot. And
no, we better not.
Yeah, I was gonna have us just go all the way to Sanctum K this episode, and then I did Deeproot's quest, and I was like, oh, we got an episode.
Yeah.
We got an episode right here. So, yeah, that's how this episode ended up being just the quests and the Aurora Glade mission. Yeah. So I liked it. Did you have a fun time?
I did. Even with having to repeat Aurora Glade because of the henchmen.
Yeah, I didn't mind doing the mission twice, honestly. Didn't bother me.
No, it wasn't bad.
And to conclude the episode, what level are you?
19 and a quarter.
Yep, I'm about 19 and a quarter as well. I managed to ding the 19. I think having to redo Aurora Glade helped me get there.
Yeah,
and then so one thing we didn't mention about the Deeproot quest, the second quest, Blood and Smoke, gives 2,500 XP.
Yeah.
Without that, I'm pretty sure I'd still be stuck at 18.
Yeah.
So shout out to my boy Deeproot. Shout out to my boy Dark Oak. They really pulled through for us this episode.
Yeah, they did.
Miko, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Inky Sticks everywhere. Inky Sticks is the word. Everywhere is where you can find me. And
unlike Holt the Iron Boot Heel, it is all one word.
That is right.
No spaces or hyphens or underscores.
Correct.
You can find Tyria then at the Tyria Now Twitter. You can find it on the Tyria Now YouTube channel. And you can find it at the Tyria Now profile on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The show's title is Tyria Then, and all our episodes are on audio only if you'd prefer Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe here on YouTube if you want to keep watching this. We come out with an episode every 2 weeks, and we've been pretty damn good about staying on schedule, if I do say so myself. I'm like, I didn't think I'd make it this far, like, on the schedule. I was like, this is gonna fucking fall apart, right? And it hasn't, so we're still going strong. And then if you'd like to follow, if you like the intro music, you can follow Arctic's Booze Bus. He does our intro music, and he also does the little graphic that plays. He's a talented guy, so you can go check out his channel. Follow us on Twitter. Ask me things on Twitter. I have been slacking on the tweets, but I'm trying to get my tweet mojo back. So I'll work on that with tweeting weird, funky facts about jungle trolls. And we will see everybody. Let's see. We're going to be posting this on the 27th on... What's that holiday in the U.S.?
Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's the one. We're posting this on Memorial Day. And then 2 weeks from then. So 2 weeks from the 27th, whenever the hell that is, we're going to have another episode. So do that math for me, because I can't be fucked. And we will see everybody next time. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.